Welcome to Forever in Our Hearts. I'm Matthew. Here, we reflect on the lives of remarkable individuals whose presence changed the world in meaningful ways. Their creativity, strength, and passion continue to inspire millions. Join us as we revisit their journeys across entertainment, culture, and beyond, honoring memories that will live on for generations. Val Kilmer was born on December 31st, 1959, and grew into one of Hollywood's most versatile performers. From early in his career, he was known for his strong screen presence and ability to fully inhabit his roles, bringing emotional depth and realism that made his performances stand out across different genres, breakthrough, and iconic roles. His rise to fame came with major film roles that defined a generation of cinema. In Top Gun, he became widely recognized for his portrayal of a confident and competitive fighter pilot, a role that left a lasting impression on audiences. He later took on the role of Bruce Wayne in Batman Forever, presenting a more thoughtful and layered interpretation of the iconic character. One of his most acclaimed performances came in The Doors, where his portrayal of Jim Morrison demonstrated his commitment to transformation and detail-driven acting. Dedication to craft. Kilmer was known for choosing roles that challenged him creatively rather than following easy paths. He approached acting as a form of expression and exploration, often fully immersing himself in his characters. Beyond mainstream success, he valued artistic depth and storytelling that pushed boundaries and allowed for emotional honesty. Legacy and lasting impact. Even while facing personal health challenges in later years, he continued to remain connected to his art and creative expression. Val Kilmer passed away at the age of 65, leaving behind a legacy defined by commitment, versatility, and authenticity. His performances continue to resonate, remembered for their intensity and the genuine humanity he brought to every role. Patrick Muldoon was a well-known American actor, best remembered for his work in 1990s television, including Melrose Place and Days of Our Lives. He became a familiar face to audiences during that era, building a strong fan base through both daytime and primetime roles. He also appeared in the film Starship Troopers, which expanded his recognition and helped establish him as part of a memorable generation of screen performers. Work and ongoing projects. In later years, Muldoon continued working in film and television while also exploring production roles. He remained active in the entertainment industry, taking part in various projects that reflected his ongoing passion for storytelling. At the time of his passing, he was associated with upcoming work and creative ventures that highlighted his continued presence in Hollywood. Legacy and remembrance. Muldoon is remembered for his contributions to television and film and for the characters he brought to life on screen. Colleagues and fans often described him as energetic and dedicated to his craft. His work continues to be appreciated by audiences who followed his career through the 1990s and beyond, leaving behind a lasting impression in entertainment. His legacy remains tied to a defining era of television drama and popular film culture and entertainment history. Donald Douglas was a Scottish actor, born on the 7th of March, 1933, in Falkirk. From an early age, he showed a strong interest in the arts and creative expression. His training included studies at respected institutions such as the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, along with education at Falkirk High School, Edinburgh College of Art, and the University of Edinburgh. This academic foundation helped him develop a careful and disciplined approach to performance. Acting career. Douglas built a long and steady career across film and television, often appearing in supporting roles that added depth and realism to productions. He became known for his ability to bring quiet authenticity to the characters he portrayed, making even smaller roles feel meaningful and grounded. While he was not always in leading positions, his performances were consistently regarded as reliable and well-crafted. Professional reputation. Within the industry, he was respected for his dedication and professionalism. Colleagues valued his focus on the craft rather than attention or fame, and he contributed to many projects in ways that strengthened overall storytelling. Viewers of British television and cinema may have seen his work over the years, often without immediately recognizing his long experience. Legacy. Donald Douglas passed away at the age of 92 leaving behind a body of work shaped by patience, skill, and commitment. His career reflects a lifelong dedication to acting, with performances that continue to represent his quiet but lasting contribution to the performing arts. Daryl Sheets was widely known for his role on Storage Wars, where he became a familiar face in the world of reality television. He passed away at the age of 67, and news of his death has been shared alongside reports that details surrounding the circumstances are still under review by authorities. Over the years, he became a recognizable personality to viewers who followed the series from its early seasons. Career in storage auctions. Before television exposure, Sheets spent more than 3 decades working in storage auctions, a field where experience, timing, and intuition play a major role. He earned a reputation for taking bold risks and making confident bidding decisions. His approach to the business reflected a deep understanding of how unpredictable the auction world could be, and it helped define his professional identity. Television career and public image. When Storage Wars premiered in 2010, Sheets quickly became one of its standout personalities. His energetic style and willingness to take chances made him a central part of the show's appeal. Audiences followed not only the items discovered in storage units, but also the personalities involved, with Sheets often contributing memorable moments throughout the series. Personal life and legacy. Outside of television, Sheets valued his family and worked closely with his son, Brandon Sheets, in the auction business. Those close to him describe him as someone who placed importance on personal relationships alongside his work. He leaves behind a legacy tied to both his career and his impact on reality television, remembered for his presence, personality, and long-standing role in the industry. Alan Osmond, the eldest member of the iconic musical group, the Osmonds, has passed away at the age of 76 after living with multiple sclerosis for nearly 4 decades. He first rose to fame in the 1970s as part of a family band that became widely known for its harmonies and wholesome image, leaving a lasting mark on popular music and entertainment. Life with strength and resilience. For much of his life, Alan faced the challenges of a progressive illness that gradually changed his physical abilities. Despite this, he remained steady in spirit and outlook. Over time, he learned to adapt to a quieter pace of life, finding meaning in patience, acceptance, and personal growth. His journey reflected a calm determination to continue living with dignity, even when circumstances became difficult. A life of purpose and service. Alan was known for valuing connection, kindness, and service to others. Even when he could no longer participate as actively as before, he continued to encourage and support those around him. Whether through music, conversation, or presence, he focused on lifting others up. His life demonstrated that purpose can evolve over time, and that meaningful impact often comes through simple acts of care and generosity. Legacy and lasting influence. Alan Osmond's legacy extends beyond his role in music. He is remembered for his strength, humility, and the example he set in facing long-term illness with grace. His story continues to inspire those who value resilience and compassion. Through his family, music, and the lives he touched, his influence remains present, reflecting a life shaped by love, purpose, and quiet strength. In 2018, the entire room rose to its feet as Henry Winkler stood on stage at the Emmy Awards, holding a statue he had waited more than 40 years to receive. At 72 years old, his hands trembled, not from age alone, but from the emotional weight of a journey defined by rejection, reinvention, and endurance. This was not just an award. It felt like collective correction from an industry that had once overlooked him. The applause was long, loud, and deeply personal, as if Hollywood itself was acknowledging a long-delayed truth. Winkler, best known as the iconic Fonzie from Happy Days, had lived many lives between his early fame and this moment of recognition. What made this night powerful was not fame regained, but dignity restored. It was the sound of an entire career being re-examined and finally understood in full. A childhood built on silence and pressure. Henry Winkler was born in 1945 in Manhattan to German Jewish parents who had escaped Nazi Germany. Their survival came with emotional scars they never fully healed from, and those wounds shaped the household Henry grew up in. Expectations were high, patience was low, and mistakes were not easily forgiven. His father ran a lumber business, and success was treated as survival itself. But Henry struggled early in school, unable to read fluently or process written words in a typical way. Teachers saw him as careless, while at home he was often labeled with cruel simplicity that stayed with him for years. What no one understood was that Henry had dyslexia, a condition barely recognized at the time. Instead of support, he received frustration. Yet beneath that pressure, a different part of him quietly formed, one that would later find expression in performance, imitation, and storytelling. Discovering performance as a way to breathe school was a place of struggle, but the stage became a place of relief. Henry discovered acting in his early teens and immediately felt something shift. Memorization worked better than reading. Emotion worked better than analysis. On stage, he was no longer the boy who struggled to keep up. He was someone who could transform entirely. Acting gave him a structure where his differences were not weaknesses, but tools, while academic spaces labeled him as slow, performance spaces rewarded his presence and instinct. This contrast shaped his identity deeply. He began to understand that intelligence was not singular and expression had many forms. Acting became more than interest. It became survival. It offered him a place where he did not need to explain himself, only to become someone else entirely. Yale, training, and the quiet fight for belonging. Henry's acceptance into the Yale School of Drama marked a turning point that few could have predicted. Despite his academic struggles, he had managed to reach one of the most respected acting programs in the United States. At Yale, he trained rigorously, pushing through the difficulties of script reading and academic pressure with sheer persistence. What others processed quickly, he absorbed slowly but deeply. He developed systems to compensate, relying on memory, repetition, and emotional understanding. While others seemed naturally fluent, Henry worked twice as hard to reach the same place. Yet his effort was undeniable, and his talent began to sharpen into something distinct. Yale did not erase his struggles, but it validated his path. It proved that his challenges did not define his limits, and that his way of thinking had value in a world that had once dismissed him entirely. Fonzie and the explosion of unexpected fame. In 1973, Henry Winkler auditioned for a small role in a television show called Happy Days. The character, Arthur Fonzie Fonzarelli, was not meant to be central, but something about Winkler's presence changed everything. He brought confidence, layered with vulnerability, creating a character who felt both untouchable and deeply human. The audience response was immediate and overwhelming. Fonzie quickly became the center of the show, transforming Winkler into a national icon. At its peak, Happy Days drew tens of millions of viewers weekly. The leather jacket, the thumbs-up gesture, and the effortless cool became cultural symbols. But behind the fame, Winkler was experiencing something unexpected. He was no longer seen as an actor playing a role. He was seen only as Fonzie, and that identity began to overshadow everything else he hoped to become. The weight of being forever, Fonzie. As Happy Days grew, so did Henry Winkler's visibility, but his creative freedom narrowed. He became one of the most recognizable faces in America, yet increasingly confined by that very recognition. Casting directors could not separate him from Fonzie, and opportunities outside the character became rare. Even when he was not in costume, audiences still expected the same energy, confidence, and persona. This created a strange contradiction: global fame paired with professional limitation. Winkler later described it as a golden cage, where success itself became restrictive. While audiences adored Fonzie, the industry struggled to see beyond him. The role that made him famous also made reinvention nearly impossible. It was a paradox that would shape the next decades of his life as he moved from celebrated star to someone quietly fighting for relevance again. Years of reinvention and quiet persistence. When Happy Days ended, Winkler entered a long period of professional uncertainty. The industry remembered Fonzie too clearly to see anything else. Roles were limited, and many auditions ended with polite rejection. Rather than disappear, he adapted. He explored directing, producing, and eventually writing children's books. One of his most meaningful creations was Hank Zipser, a dyslexic child who struggles in school but thrives through creativity and resilience. This character reflected Winkler's own childhood in a way he had never publicly expressed before. While acting opportunities slowed, his influence quietly expanded in other directions. He remained active, but the recognition he once had as Fonzie did not translate into his new work. Still, he continued forward, refusing bitterness, choosing instead to build something meaningful in whatever space he was allowed to occupy. The late recognition and career rebirth decades later, Winkler experienced an unexpected resurgence. His role in the television series Barry revealed a depth of performance many had forgotten or never seen. As Gene Cousineau, he played a flawed, emotional acting coach struggling with relevance, a role that mirrored aspects of his own life. Critics took notice immediately. For the first time in years, Winkler was not being viewed through the lens of Fonzie. He was being seen as a dramatic actor with range, timing, and emotional precision. Awards and nominations followed, including the Emmy win that arrived in 2018. This recognition was not just professional validation. It was symbolic closure for years of being overlooked. It marked the moment when Hollywood finally separated the actor from the character that had once defined him completely. Legacy, acceptance, and the meaning of endurance. Today, Henry Winkler's legacy is layered and deeply human. He is still remembered as Fonzie, but that is no longer the full story. He is also an Emmy-winning actor, a successful author, a dyslexia advocate, and a figure of resilience in the entertainment industry. His journey reflects something larger than fame. It reflects endurance through mislabeling, rejection, and reinvention. Winkler has openly embraced his dyslexia, turning what was once a source of shame into a platform for advocacy and education. His life demonstrates that identity is not fixed by early labels or industry limitations. Instead, it evolves through persistence and self-understanding. The standing ovation he received in 2018 was not just for one performance or one role. It was for an entire lifetime of perseverance finally acknowledged.